I'm gonna try to dial in by phone because for some reason I couldn't hear you on my computer. Yes. Okay.
If I come here, can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
You can? Okay, so that's from my computer. I'm gonna try to come back to my AirPods really quickly. What about now?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Perfect.
cool. Perfect. All right, so if everybody can hear me, then let's go ahead and get started. Kay said that she might have coronavirus, so she is not gonna be here today. And Anne-Marie is picking mushrooms. So I've sent a playlist. We can all sync that up if you want, beginning with the meeting of the two oceans, and press play. And then you can come to your mat and you can go ahead and find a comfortable seat. And I'll angle this. So today I want to start by just talking a little bit about the core. And basically, modern medicine is proving that we have a lot of connections from our gut to our brain. And in yogic philosophy and yogic anatomy, we have something that's called a khanda. And the khanda is sort of this energy center, and it's the action brain of the body. So the brain that we have right here would be our thinking brain. And then the nerve ganglia connection that we have to all of our internal organs would be our action brain. It's the gut reaction that we get before we're falling. So if you think about when you're walking and you trip on a rock, your body will react before the brain has the chance to understand and discern what's happened. So there's this innate intelligence within our body. And a lot of the foundation of Yoga Synergy is that all movements should originate from the core. So core exercise in Yoga Synergy is going to be a little different from core exercise that you might have done in an exercise class or another yoga class perhaps. And you want this area to be steady and relaxed. So you want it to be strong but relaxed. You still want to be able to breathe down to this lower part of the belly. So keeping the awareness on the breath, you want to observe yourself as you move through the practice today, and just take a moment to notice if you've lost this deep belly connection, particularly in postures that are a little bit more straining on the body. So just be mindful of that. And if you observe that you're really tensing and drawing the navel in towards the spine, that can actually interfere with the circulation and it can block the ability for movement to move freely through all of this vital organs of the body, really. So I want to begin today's practice with Kapalabhati breathing, which is a style of breath that is very core centric. So we'll just take a moment to close our eyes before we get to that. And just take a deep breath in, fill everything with air, and sigh it out. And just do that one more time. Take a deep, slow breath in, and sigh it out. And then just close the mouth, close the eyes, and allow the breath to come into a rhythm, just a steady rhythm that is similar to when you're in your most restorative state, almost a whisper in and out through the nose. And just take a moment to observe the spaces that you're carrying tension today. Are you carrying tension in your shoulders? Maybe straight away you check in with the belly. Is your belly constricted? And is your breath therefore constricted? Notice the jaw and the muscles of the face. And see if you can just soften what's not necessary in this posture. And inhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale for a count of 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just do that one more time, but you count internally. Finding this steady inhale matched with a steady exhale. And just continue this rhythm, counting internally while I begin to explain the breath work that we'll do this morning. So Kapalabhati is kind of a translation for fire breathing. It's something that generates a lot of heat in the body. And once we begin, you'll inhale to about 2/3 lung capacity. And the exhale will be a snapping back of the core pretty abruptly. And you're barely even thinking about the exhale because it's the snap back of the core towards the spine that's releasing the exhale. So it will sound like this. The inhalation is just a natural byproduct of the exhale. So you barely even think about it. It's just the movement is the core, drawing in actively and quickly. So wherever you are in your breath cycle, just go ahead and exhale everything out. And inhale to about 2/3 capacity for us to begin. And keep going. You can slow it down if you need to feel into each part of the movement a little more clearly before you move faster. So it might be like, but try to think about the relationship of the core pumping the breath through the body. And then wherever you are, take a few more. And then exhale everything out. And then inhale slowly and deeply. And then exhale slowly and deeply. And hold the breath at the bottom of the exhale. So that space where there's no breath left in the body. The eyes are still closed. If you need to breathe in, you can, but try to hold it a little bit longer. Try to just feel into this sort of mystical space after the exhalation. And then slowly breathe in. And slowly breathe out. And then with the next inhale, start to release the fingers to the side. Reach up, blink the eyes open, look up towards the hands. And as you lower, we'll find an Om. So take a breath in, reach up through the fingers. Om. So after the Om, the hands are at the heart center, and maybe the eyes are open or maybe they're closed. And just take a moment to bring an intention to mind, something to highlight and dedicate your practice to today, whatever it is, big or small. And just repeat that to yourself a few times. Allow it to be your personal mantra for your movement. And then blink open the eyes one more time. And we'll actually begin today standing. So whenever you're ready, you can make your way up to your seat. Maybe you try not to use any hands today. You just use your solid foundation. And then step up to the top of your mat and spread the toes really wide here as if you were spreading the fingers, and then grip down through the feet. And just sort of shift the weight back and forth. And then find your center place. Find that spot where you feel stacked, but also engaged. Maybe if you lean forward just slightly, you can feel the front line of the body starting to engage slightly. And just take a moment here to allow the hands to sit by the sides delicately. You can stay soft in the knees. So you keep looking forward. I might change my body so you can see a different angle. So don't lock the knees. Try to soften the lower back down. So you can almost feel like your pelvis is on a string, the string being your spine. And then slowly start to, like you're pulling something up from the floor, some matter or energy. Lift your hands up. And then as if you were pressing something down in water, slowly press it back down into the earth. And just find yourself in a loop of movement here for a moment, feeling the almost dense air around you. So try to create the sensation of actually using muscles to pull something up from the ground. So the example is just so you can find engagement through the muscles a little more clearly. And then the next time the hands come up towards the heart, start to pull the fingers in opposite directions, lift the chest forward, and then inhale, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling this time. And then like you're pressing something even heavier down into the ground. Move with controlled movements, just starting slowly today. And then inhale, like you're pulling something up, opening through the chest, and then reaching up towards the ceiling. And just now find a loop through this movement a few times without my guiding voice, just as your felt practice. And the next time you reach the fingers up towards the ceiling, just pause there. Take a moment to really allow the shoulders to draw up, the fingertips reaching forward towards the ceiling. And then maybe you look down to your feet and come up onto the heels and lift through the fingers and then lower the heels down, reach the hands forward and start to circle the backs of the hands to meet in front of your pubic bone. And then as you inhale, slowly open the front of the body, lift the fingers up and look up. And then exhale the fingers to the sides. And always have the palms facing up like you're holding some soup that you don't want to spill. And then find this pattern of movement now, a little different from how we started our class. So we're feeling the shoulders, the spine bending forward and bending back. We're just slowly bringing and inviting movements into the body. And inhale the fingers up. And the next time the hands lower, this time circle the wrists around so they flex forward. And in this posture, you'll try to send the sit bones forward. You'll try to round the spine. Keep the gaze looking forward, but try to expand the skin behind the heart, so the upper back. Take one more breath in here, and maybe you can lengthen through one side and then the other, like a bear scratching their back against a tree. And then on your next inhale, circle the fingers around, press the pubic bone forward, lift the chest, reach back through the hands. So the palms press out, the fingertips almost are pointing behind your back. Lift the heart, breathe in. And then start to pivot the fingers to face up towards the ceiling. The fingertips draw in towards the collarbones. And then the backs of the hands meet. And we move a little more fluidly here. Inhale, open the hands out. Circle the wrists around, round the spine forward, flex through the wrists. So you can stay here, or you're welcome to come up onto the toes. You can stay here, or if it's comfortable, you can start to bend the knees. Maybe you just bend your knees this much. Maybe you come all the way down. And then press the pubic bone forward to stand up actively. Release the heels down to the earth and circle and lift the chest, palms press back and out. So same thing here. You can come up onto the toes. You can stay here. Maybe this is where you come, or maybe you come all the way down, but be mindful of your body. And then inhale with control, make your way up to standing. Pivot the fingers to face up towards the ceiling and draw the fingertips in. Exhale to unfold, inhale to reach up. Same thing here, come up onto the toes. You can stay here, or you can bend the knees and sink a little deeper. Try to keep the shoulders over the hips. And then exhale the hands forward. So just come towards this neutral position. So the fingertips are just slightly apart. See that they can still move like the tendrils of a jellyfish. The elbows are just bobbing. The shoulders are free. The neck is free. And the belly is soft and relaxed. So let's start these movements just with our core before we make them a little bit bigger. So imagine that your movements will initiate here. So you'll like reach the belly button up towards the right shoulder, or you can mirror me. And this is a lateral bend that started from the core. And then press the belly forward, round the spine, come back. And we'll do that on the other side. The belly button lifts towards the other shoulder to lengthen through the side of the body. And then come back through the center. And then we'll do that as a twist now. So almost like the belly button is spiraling around. So you feel the chest is the last thing to twist back. And then press the belly button forward and back to the center. So we'll do that again. Start from the belly, twist, look back over the right shoulder, and notice when each part of the spine wants to engage. And then press forward, roll forward. And now let's add on a little bit. So start to reach the belly button up towards the shoulder we started with. And then bring the elbow up too. Maybe the fingertips gently apart. You can open the hands, so you're really extending out through the fingers. And then maybe you shift the weight into the side leg that you're stretching. This foot having virtually no weight whatsoever. Reach down and reach up. And then to make your way out of this, roll the spine forward. Inhale, lengthen up through the center. And we'll do that on the other side. So exhale the hands back through the center. Start to lift the belly towards the other shoulder. Then the elbows stack. Hands extend. And then you can shift the weight and get light on this other foot. So really reach down and apart. So you can even feel the shoulders drawing away from one another. Can you still breathe to your belly? Is your jaw soft? And then to make your way out, roll forward. Keep extending through the top hand, and then reach both fingers up towards the ceiling. And exhale the hands back to this neutral posture. So start with the belly button, allow it to twist up and back. The arms gently touch, and then you can open them apart. Keep looking forward and notice this hip. Does the hip want to open up? See if you can square it forward, but reach your shoulders back. So this twist is just through the spine. Lengthen through the side of the neck here. Take a breath in so that your shoulders can move, your fingertips can move. You can breathe to the belly here. And then hug this back arm forward and around. So you're grabbing opposite shoulders. Reach the elbows up and then the fingertips up. And exhale the hands to the sides and come back to this neutral position. So we'll just do that on the other side. Twist the belly button, the shoulders twist, the arms twist. Keep the gaze forward and immediately notice this hip. Did it open up? Square it forward. Reach the shoulders back towards the wall behind you. So you're still just twisting mostly through the thoracic spine. Take a breath in. And then hug this back arm in and around. Inhale the elbows and the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then open up. So we'll do this a little bit faster, like you're pulling something up from the ground. Reach the top elbow, open up, really reach through the whole lateral side body, and then roll forward and back up to the center. So we're gonna go a little bit faster. And then reach up from the ground, open through the whole lateral seam of the body. And then roll the belly forward as you unfold up towards the ceiling. And exhale the hands, and then twist to the other side. And maybe this time you do find more depth. Maybe the hip opens and you spiral around yourself, looking back over the back shoulder. And then hug the back arm forward and around. Inhale the elbows and the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And we'll just do that again on the other side. Maybe the hips open this time and you look back. Maybe you can incorporate the eyes into the twist. Take a breath in. And then hug the back arm forward and around. Unfold the elbows and the fingertips up towards the ceiling. And then start to bring the hands towards the heart. So we'll fold forward, but round the spine forward. And then bend the knees, place the hands on the ground, and then straighten through the legs. Allow the forehead to touch the knees. So keep a bend in the knees and find this Uttanasana where you have this belly touching the tops of the thighs. The forehead can be touching the knees. And then from there, you can start to shift your weight into the toes and maybe stretching through the backs of the legs, but avoid extreme sensations of stretching. And just settle the breath in and out. And then inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Your hands can be on the ground as long as you can lengthen, or you can keep your hands on your knees. Take a breath in. Exhale, microbend the knees and fold forward. Start to step the right foot back into the air. So it's like you're coming into a standing split. And then lower this foot down to the ground for 3, 2, 1. Release to a runner's lunge. So in this runner's lunge, the back heel is stacked over the toes, and you can bend this knee, this back knee, as much as you need to. Pull the heart forward and through like you are going to spring forward. And then as you exhale, start to draw the belly button in towards the spine, round over this front leg. So the forehead might touch the knees. And let's just do that. Inhale, pull the heart forward, almost like you're doing a cat and the cow. And then as you exhale, navel draws in towards the spine and round over this front leg. And then from here, keep this strong foundation through the legs. Bring the backs of the hands to meet on the inside of the front shin. And then inhale, pull the fingers up to the ceiling. And take a moment here to check in with your legs again. If you need to widen this foot to the side for stability, then feel free to do so. Try to bend the back knee and press the sit bones forward so the spine is a little more stacked, and then you can straighten the leg if you can maintain that. Take a breath in, look up, really reach up. And then exhale, fold over the leg. Place the hands on the ground so they're shoulder distance apart, and hug this front shin in towards the belly and hold there for 2, 1, and then step back to a plank slowly with control. And from here, sink the knees down towards the ground like you're coming to a child's pose. Maybe the knees touch or maybe they don't. And then to come forward, lift the lower back, the middle back, and then the upper back. So you're rippling forward to a supported plank. And then release the tops of the feet to the ground. Hug the elbows in, lower halfway. Just hold the chest here. Look forward. And then exhale, release the belly down and come forward onto the elbows. So we're coming into this fighting cobra variation. You can flex through the wrists and almost tension the elbows back towards the chest while pulling the chest forward and through. And just notice where you feel this through the spine. Holding in stillness for 1 more breath. And then starting to release 1 finger at a time and just rolling through the wrists. You can look up and drop the chin down. And then release the fingertips down to the ground. Lift up for about 1 inch and then lower down so you can feel each vertebra engaging. The hands come back by the rib cage. Tuck the toes under and start to lift the belly button from the ground to start, and then press to the hands and come back to downward facing dog. And once you're in your downward facing dog, just take a moment to fix your gaze on 1 point. So maybe your gaze is just in between the heels of the feet on the ground. Maybe it's just in between the knees, or maybe it's up towards the belly button and you can almost feel yourself rounding through the spine to look to the belly. Press to the hands so you are not collapsing through the shoulders. And just take a few breaths here. Allow the belly to expand with the breath. So notice if you're holding it in. And try to release tension, not create more. And with your next inhale, look forward to the top of the mat. Step the right foot forward, so you're coming back to a runner's lunge. And inhale the fingers up towards the ceiling for a high lunge. And then start to reach forward. You can shift the weight into the front leg and maybe come through warrior 3 for a moment. And then in the air, we're stepping to a forward fold. So the hands come down and both feet come to the ground eventually. And then take a moment here, bend the knees as much as you need to. And you can shake the head no. You can shake the head yes. Maybe you make a sound with the lips like like the way a horse would make or something. And then inhale, find a halfway lift. And then exhale, fold. We'll start to lift the left foot back into the air. And then lower it down for a count of 3, 2, 1. Release to a runner's lunge with control. And just take a moment to pull the heart through. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine over the front leg. And we'll do that once more on each side. Inhale, allow the hips to sink. Pull the heart through and open the chest. Exhale, open the back seam of the body. Look to the belly button. And then keeping this strength of the legs, bring the backs of the hands to meet on the inside of the front leg and slowly press through the feet to extend the fingers up towards the ceiling. And again, adjust the stance if you need to. You can shorten, you can widen. Bend the back knee as much as you need to press the sit bones forward. So you can feel this through the front hip flexor that's being engaged. Look up, lift up, reach up, inhale. Exhale, fold forward over the front legs. Plant the hands on the ground. Really press through the whole palm of the hand and draw the shin in towards the chest. And then with control, step back to a plank. So this time you can hover the knees, but sink back towards the child's pose with the toes tucked. And then unfold the spine forward to a plank. Drop the knees if you need to. We'll lower all the way down to our belly. Hug the elbows in the whole way down. Release the tops of the feet to the ground. Inhale, press to the tops of the feet. Lift the chest from the ground. Exhale, lower down. And we'll do that twice more. Inhale. Exhale. Move with your breath. Let's do that one more time. And then press to the hands. Lift the belly button from the ground so you almost feel your tailbone tuck. Press to the hands. Tuck the toes, send the sit bones back and up. Come to downward facing dog. And just settle your gaze. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Check in to see if that's something that you've lost control of, or maybe it's something that you still feel pretty steady in your rhythm. Take one more breath here. And then look forward and step the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Inhale the fingers up towards the ceiling for a high crescent. Really reach up and look up. So you know where we're going. We're coming forward to a warrior 3 or just stepping to Uttanasana, and in the air, release the hands to the ground, then the knee and both feet step to the ground. Just take a moment here. Now this time, paint your nose in the circle. So start to just create a circle with the tip of the nose so you can feel this gentle release through the back of the neck. And then just take that in the other direction too for balance. Inhale, find a halfway lift, look forward. Exhale, fold. And with your next inhale, start to slowly roll up to standing. So allow the shoulders and the head to be so weighted that they're just drawing forward. And at the moment they're called to engage, we start to stack our shoulders, our neck, and our head. And then come back to this neutral position. So the hands are just gently like bobbing in the water. We'll move through our spinal movements again. Start to reach up towards the ground, or reach towards the ceiling, Open the side of the body, shift the weight, and expand the whole side body. Maybe you find a little more depth. And then roll forward and lengthen both fingers up towards the ceiling. So lower the hands down, like you're pulling something up from the ground, lengthening through the other side of the body and slowly expanding and adding on depth. And then roll forward and extend both fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale the hands forward into the center and spiral around yourself. Look back, open the arms up. Maybe one heel even starts to lift from the ground. And then hug the back arm forward and around. Unfold the elbows and the fingers up towards the ceiling. Exhale back. And we'll just do that to the other side. And then hug the back arm forward and around. Unwind the elbows, the fingers up towards the ceiling, and then release the hands down. Now, start to draw the palms facing up, round the spine forward, and then press the hips forward, reach the hands forward, lift the chest, and then fold forward again. So we'll just find this movement. Start from the belly button. So start to notice at what point you want to press and lengthen the front side of the body, and how can you use the core to stabilize the movement and to lead the movement. And then start to just find some fluidity here. And come to one toe tip. So you're almost moving over one leg. And try to be soft through the fingers. And then like you were pulling this knee in towards the chest, allow yourself to round over this knee. And then like you were not using your hands, but pressing the toe to the ground. Inhale, lift the chest, fingers extend back. Lift from the inner thigh. And flex the toes. Bend the knees, circle through the wrists, and then place both feet back on the ground. And we'll just do that on the other side. So start to come to the other toe tip and start to fold, open, and just find this pattern of movement over the other leg. And then the next time you fold forward, gently start to draw the knee towards the chest. So it's like you're rounding forward over this leg. And then start to, without touching the knee, release and straighten the foot to the ground. Inhale, open the chest. Fingers reach back, palms press out. Lift from the inner part of the thigh. You can keep the foot on the ground or you can hover it away from the earth. And then flex the toes and the wrists and release both feet down, and straight away come back to this movement. This folding through the spine, this opening and contraction. And then start to come to the other toe tip again, still finding this movement in the air. Start to draw the knee in towards the chest, and then continue the pattern, but reach the foot back. So you can be folding and opening through the foot too, in the air. And then step that foot actively back behind you so the feet come more like warrior 2 feet, but the legs bend and straighten. And you just keep moving like this through the hands and the belly. See if you can still move through the spine. And the next time you come forward, shift the weight to the front foot, get really light, and spin on the back toes, and then come back towards crescent legs. And just keep moving through time and space. It's like a movement that's rolling through all of these basic standing postures that we find. And then start to reach forward and actively step this back foot forward to the front toes and continue finding these movements. And then start to step this foot back behind you. Keep this heel lifted. Try to draw the thighs together and square the hips forward. Stay buoyant in the knees and continue finding this spinal movement. So it's like we're pumping blood throughout our hands while we do this posture. And then start to draw the knee back in towards the chest and round yourself like you're trying to do a can opener into the pool, and then release everything down. And we'll just come back to this movement. And we'll just do that on the other side. So come to the other toe tip. And the next time you fold over this leg, you can start to draw the knee in just for a moment before reaching that back foot. You'll open the knee and close. So the hips are included in this movement. And then just start to step back behind you. Try to move with control and fluidity, and just allow the knees to bend so the hips can start to sink into this posture. You still continue this movement throughout. Maybe it's small, or maybe the movement is big. It's up to you. You're always welcome to take it more or less. And the next time you come forward, get really light on the back foot and just pivot the toes back towards the ground. And it's okay if you wobble. It's how the muscles learn stability. And the next time you fold forward, start to step this toe forward and just straight away come back to this movement. And then start to draw the foot actively back behind you, square the hips forward, allow the knees to be buoyant, the inner thighs pressed together. Good, and then start to shift the weight to this leg. Draw the knee in towards the chest and round everything forward, curl into a tiny ball over this leg. And then release everything to the ground. And just return to this movement. And then start to bring the hands facing up to the sides. Angle them down. And then the next time they go up, open the feet. Stay buoyant in the knees. And then they go down, the heels go out. And just slowly, we start to open our stance until we come towards the Gajasthana. So the knees are bent, you can sway through the hips. You're welcome to bring the hips closer towards the ground so the thighs are more parallel, but you're welcome to straighten the legs as much as you need to, wherever you feel the best. Then reach down towards the ground like you're picking something up, interlace the fingers and press the floor away. Inhale the fingers forward and up. Allow the shoulders to draw up, press up. Maybe you come onto the heels of the feet, maybe you don't. And then release the heels down towards the ground. And start to release the hands forward. I let go of the fingers and interlace the fingers behind the back knee. Stretch that fist down, lift the chest up towards the ceiling. And then start to bring the hands back towards center. So you can just stay fluid here. And then bring the backs of the hands to meet. Inhale, reach the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw the elbows towards one another. Circle the wrists around so they're flexed. And we're gonna find these spinal movements through this posture. And start to open the hands out. So lift the chest, press the fingertips back. Fingertips draw up. Backs of the hands meet. Inhale, reach up towards the ceiling. Start to reach down towards one side and bring the opposite elbow up. You can open the hands apart so you're laterally stretching through this posture, and then roll forward and come up through the center. We'll do that on the other side. Notice your legs. You can straighten them a little if you need. Bring the hands back to the center. And then like you're pulling something up from the ground and twisting around. The hips are square here, so look forward, lengthen through the side of the neck, press the shoulders back, and then hug this back arm forward and around. Inhale the elbows and the fingers up, and exhale back through the center. And then like you're pulling something up, twisting to the other side. Keep your gaze forward, and then hug the back arm forward and around. Inhale the elbows up, the fingers up. Exhale, start to fold forward. Keep the bend in the knees. look forward, and then spin on the toes, and the heels go out. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold forward into this wide-legged forward fold. The hands can be on the ground. Maybe you grab your ankles and you pull your elbows away from one another. You can stay soft behind the knees and just use this as a moment to feel the sensation of release through the legs. So what we just did is a very strong and powerful stance for the legs, particularly the inner thighs. So just feel this new sensation of relief moving through the body. Take one more breath here. Release the hands to the ground and inhale, look forward, bring the spine parallel towards the ground. And draw the heels in, the toes are out, bend the knees. Reach back behind the legs and flex the wrists, come up to standing. Open the hands out. Inhale, straighten the hands. And then bend the knees, come back to center. So we're gonna kind of find this strengthening movement through the core. So imagine like you're pulling a rope. This rope comes up and behind you. Start the movement from the core. Do that with the other hand, and then just turn it into a fluid movement that starts from the core up towards the elbow. And just allow it to pick up in speed once you feel like you kind of are familiar through the torso of what's happening in the body. And you can start to allow it to get a little more free. So maybe you release the tension in the fingers, like you're pulling your elbow back up and around as much as you can. Feeling it all the way through the side body like a twist. It's fluid and strong. And then start to slow the movement down. So smaller circles. And the hands come more like an infinity sign, just moving in front of the body. You can straighten one leg. And then start to step the foot in. So you come back towards neutral. The hands are still moving in this kind of infinite loop, like you have a beach ball in your hands. And then the next time you reach over to one side, start to rotate the top elbow up. So you're still holding this beach ball, but you're lengthening through one side of the body. And then twist from the core over to the other side, and then rotate the arms so the other side lengthens. And just find this pattern of movement. So allow it to be just a subtle but strong movement from the core. The belly is what protects your spine and controls these movements. So it ripples up from the belly all the way to the elbow. And then start to slow the movement down. And come back towards center. Have both palms facing up. So this is our movement. We'll extend just one palm forward across our body. Open the arm all the way back behind you, palm still facing up. And then reach up and across and back. So it will be something like this. And just follow with your eyes. And try to feel this full rotation through the shoulder. Palm faces up the whole time. Continue imagining that you're holding a bowl of soup that you don't want to spill. So throughout this movement, you're trying to have the palm facing up. Good. And then start to bring this hand where your other hand is. And do that with this side. So the arm opens up and back, all the way up. So it's a spiraling movement, forward, back, up overhead, and back down to continue this infinite loop of balance through the shoulder girdle. This has been the single best movement for my shoulder rotation. And then come back through the center, and let's do them both at the same time. So both arms extend out, reach overhead and back around. Good, and then just come back towards the center. And we'll go back to the first side one more time. But this time, as the arm reaches up overhead, step the bottom foot around and press the hands in opposite directions. So you're laterally bending and twisting forward, and then come back through the center. So we'll just find that movement and add on, and then come back to the center. One more time here. Then we'll do the other side. And we'll do that one more time. Really press the hands apart and come back through the center. And we'll just do both hands one more time. And extend both fingers up towards the ceiling. And exhale, fold forward, lead with the heart and fold over the legs. Inhale, find a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Start to reach the right foot back into the air. Flex the toes and lower the foot and heel to the ground for 3, 2, 1. So we have warrior one legs. The hips are squaring forward. Inhale, reach the fingers to the sides and up overhead. And the palms can touch overhead, but you can also keep them shoulder distance. Just feel into what feels good for your shoulders. Your neck, your gaze can be up towards the ceiling, or it can be forward towards the screen. So find an option that works for your shoulders and your neck. Try to reach the fingers up towards the ceiling and notice how the shoulder just wants to engage and draw up as well. Take a breath into the belly and out. Start to lower the hands down to the waist and start to straighten this left leg. Maybe you gently press it back so it comes a little closer to you, and try to square everything forward to the front of the mat. So you can almost feel the inner thighs rotating. Bring the hands towards the heart and start to fold to bring the torso parallel to the ground. Press the heels of the feet in opposite directions. So you can even feel this movement through the hips. They're scissoring together, so they're squaring towards the mat. And you can stay here with your hands at the heart center, or you can start to extend the fingertips forward, and maybe the gaze looks forward towards the fingertips as well. And just take a few breaths wherever you are. Wherever you are is perfect for today. And then exhale, fold forward. Release the hands to the ground. You can bend this front knee as much as you need to find this forward fold. And just take a moment to allow the top of the head to soften towards the foot that's in the front of the mat. Notice your hips. Have you lost the awareness of your hips? Can you still almost plug this front thigh back in towards the hip socket while scissoring the back hip forward to be in line with one another? Take one breath in here. And then start to look forward, shift the weight into this left foot, press the weight into the heel, and start to lift the right foot into the air and all the way up. And then with control, draw the knee towards the nose, and then step both feet to the ground for Uttanasana. Inhale, find a halfway lift through the spine, and exhale, fold. Place the hands on the ground, and we'll just do that on the other side. Start to reach the left foot back into the air, flex through the toes. And then with control for 3, 2, 1, release the foot down. So you're coming into your warrior one leg straight away. Feel strength for your foundation before rooting down to rise up to standing. So the hands can find a space that feels comfortable. Keep in mind that we vary between the sides, so it might be different. Regardless of wherever you are, reach the fingers up towards the ceiling like somebody was pulling them up. And try to use the breath to soften into the posture. With every breath out, let go of some tension in the jaw, some tension in the belly. Effort and ease. Where is the balance for you? And then start to bring the hands down to heart center and towards the hips. Start to straighten the front leg, and maybe you jump it back just a little bit. Wherever you are, bring the hands to the heart center, palms pressed together. Lift the heart, inhale, and start to lead with the sternum as you fold forward, bringing the chest parallel to the ground. So you can stay here, just feeling into the foundation of the feet, pressing them in opposite directions. Or you can start to extend the fingers and the gaze forward. Try to stay soft behind the front knee. Try not to lock it straight. Take a breath in and out, wherever you are. And then fold forward with an exhale. The hands frame the front foot, and the spine softly rounds forward over this front leg. And bring your awareness to your hips. Notice if they are not square. Take one more breath in and out. And then start to look to your front foot. Shift the weight into the sole of the front foot, bend the front knee, and start to lift the back foot into the air. So you're coming through standing split for a moment. And then draw this knee towards the nose, round the spine forward, and then step the foot in the air to the ground for forward fold. Inhale, find a halfway lift, look forward, extend the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, and just start to shift the weight to the hands. Get really light on the toes, and then step one foot back at a time to a plank. You can bend the knees, lift the lower back, the middle back, the upper back to ripple forward into a high plank. And then you can move through standard vinyasa or meet us in downward facing dog. In your vinyasa, your upward facing dog, pull the heart forward and through. And then move from the core to press the sit bones back and up for downward facing dog. And just take a moment to settle your breath. Allow it to return to being even with the inhale and even with the exhale. Press to the hands. And start to lift the right heel up into the air for three-legged dog. And then actively step the right foot forward to the top of the mat and spin the back heel down to the ground. So you're setting up for warrior two legs. Press to the front heel, and as you inhale, open to warrior two. So the arms extend out in opposite direction. The front knee is bent over the ankle. And just allow yourself to settle into the posture. So this is a spinal twist. The belly button reaches behind you while the gaze is forward. So it's all the way from the base of the spine up to the neck. You're finding a gentle twist. Take one more breath in. And then start to send the elbows to either side of the room. The fingertips draw towards one another, but not touching. And start to move the belly up towards the back shoulder. And lift that elbow up towards the ceiling. So you can kind of feel where we're going. You can open the arms out. Maybe you come into this extended side angle with the elbow on the front knee. Or maybe this hand comes to the outside of the front foot, and you really can deepen through the whole side of the left body. Notice your breath. Have you lost the gentle control through the breathing? Take one more breath in and out. And look down to the bottom foot. So we'll frame this front foot with both of our hands, and while spinning on the back heel. So you're coming back to a runner's lunge. And then inhale the fingers forward and up for crescent warrior. So the hips are squaring forward. And then reach both hands to the outside of this front foot that's forward, that hip. And then reach the opposite elbow up. So we're coming through the spinal movements through this crescent warrior. And then circle the bottom hand forward and up. And we'll do that on the other side. So the opposite elbow lifts open. Maybe you're buoyant through the knees. And then circle the bottom hand around and up. And exhale the hands forward and start to twist towards the front bent leg. Look forward. And then hug the back arm in and around. Reach the elbow and the fingers forward. Exhale, fold forward and twist to the other side. Then hug the back arm in and around. Reach the elbows and the fingers forward. And as you exhale, fold all the way forward. Press the hands to the ground and step back to a plank. You can skip this vinyasa or you can move through more of a traditional vinyasa and meet in down dog. And just take a few breaths in your downward facing dog to return to your center. Press the hands away. And use your breath as an anchor to return to. And then start to inhale the left heel this time up towards the ceiling for a three-legged dog. And step with control that left foot to the top of the mat. So you're coming towards a runner's lunge and then spinning the back heel down and spiraling open to warrior two. So the arms reach out like you're being pulled in opposite directions. And just straight away, settle. Allow the belly to breathe. Soften the shoulders, unclench the jaw, and step into this warrior posture, the archetype of the warrior. And start to draw the fingertips towards one another, elbows apart. From the core, lift up towards the top shoulder, so that elbow is drawing forward. Open the hands and come into the Parsvakonasana that feels the best for you. So maybe that's with your elbow on the front knee, or maybe that's lengthening through the whole side body with the hand on the ground. Maybe the gaze is up towards the fingertips. Take one more breath in here. And then start to release both hands to frame the front foot. Spin on the back heel. Inhale the fingers forward and up to a crescent warrior. And just take a moment here to find some buoyancy through the knees, through the legs. Reach the hands to the outside of the front leg. And draw the elbow up. Open the hands apart, laterally sinking through this whole body. And circle the bottom hand around and up. And exhale forward, move to the other side. So the other elbow draws up, fingers apart, circle around and up. And exhale to twist, look forward, reach the shoulders back, hug the back arm in and around. Draw the elbows and the fingers up towards the ceiling. And then exhale forward and twist to the other side. Hug the back arm in and around. Inhale the elbows and the fingers, and then fold forward, exhale. Plant the hands, step back to a plank, and lower all the way down to your belly. So you can do that slowly or quickly, but try to have control through the core. Tops of the feet come to the ground. Press to the toes, press to the pelvis. Inhale, lift the chest up. And exhale, fold. So on your next movement, pull the elbows forward. So we're coming back to this fighting cobra. So you can stay here as an option today. We're going to be doing Bekasana, which is pretty intense for the quads, but it can feel good. So just draw the right heel in towards the right glute. And just see how far you can take that without the hand drawing the leg closer. And then with the same hand, reach back for that foot. You can stay here, but try to keep the gaze and the chest reaching forward. If it's possible, try to find this rotation through the shoulders. So the fingers are pressing towards the toes, pressing down. And you can almost press the foot in closer towards the glutes. And just take a moment here to notice your breath. And then release the foot with control. Try not to slingshot it back. Let it go to the ground and bring this elbow forward again. So we'll do that on the other side. Draw the other heel in towards the glute as far as you can without the hands pulling it. And then the same hand, same side of the body can reach back. So the hand might be on the big toe edge of the foot. If it's possible, find that external shoulder rotation and have the fingertips facing down towards the toes, towards the sole of the foot. Continue squaring the chest forward. You can press the foot gently down towards the glute. And then with control, just release that foot and allow it to go back towards the ground. Release the fingers to the earth and lower the chest down. Place the hands just outside of the mat so the elbows are stacking over the wrists. Step the feet as wide as your mat. And then as you inhale, press to the hands and lift the chest away. So this is a full cobra. Try to press the shoulders down the back and try to pull the heart forward so you're not collapsing through the lower back. Take a breath in, release the jaw and the neck, take a swallow. And then with the exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the earth. Bring the hands back by the rib cage and come back to child's pose. So in this child's pose, perhaps you have the thighs touching one another and you can deeply just round forward over the legs. The hands can reach back towards the heels of the feet and you can soften the forehead towards the ground. And just allow the shoulders to be really heavy here. Allow the body to do what it wants to do. And just notice your breath. Notice if you can start to really slow everything down and let go of all of the physical aspects of this practice. Take one more breath here. And then as you inhale, start to stack the shoulders upright. Walk the hands forward and just come to your final downward facing dog of the day. My cat really wanted to join, so just ignore him. And take a few breaths here. And then look to the space in between your hands and start to walk the feet forward towards the hands. Once you start getting close to the wrists, cross at the ankles, and maybe you can just hover everything from the ground for a second before releasing the sit bones down to the earth. We'll make our way onto our seat. And we're gonna do forward fold, but I want you to be mindful of your knees. So think about having the belly touching the tops of the thighs, and you can reach your hands for your pinky toe edge of your foot. So bend your knees as much as you need to connect the belly to the top of the thigh. And then from here, you can start to inch the feet forward so the legs are straightening. And just notice, where do you lose the connection from the belly to the top of the thigh? Wherever you start to lose the connection is where you'll stay. You want your belly to touch the thigh, and gently you can tension it forward. If you can straighten your legs and still have your belly and your forehead on your knees, then that's fine, you can go there. But if you cannot have your belly when your legs are straight, then bend the knees to the point that you need it. And just work there. So inhale, lengthen the spine forward. Exhale, draw the belly button down and then relax the chin in towards the chest. So you can feel a rounding sensation through the spine. This Paschimottanasana forward fold is about the spine, not the hamstrings. And just allow the breath to settle here. And maybe you can breathe down to that sacral area of the spine where the flat part of the vertebra lives. And just try to direct your breath all the way down. And then like a paintbrush, inhale all the way back up through the crown of the head. And just continue this breath awareness pattern of exhaling down the spine and inhaling up the spine. Take one more breath here. And then with a slow inhale, start to stack the shoulders upright. Extend the fingers forward, keep the legs long, and you can start to tuck the tailbone under. So you can feel this whole controlled movement as you make your way down to your back. And then release the shoulders and the back of the head to the earth. And just take a moment to lay here for just one moment. And then draw the knees in towards the chest one by one. You can bring your hands to your knees and you can find movement, or you can just try to press the tailbone long on the ground and press into the back of the head so you can feel a full lengthening through the spine. Take a breath in. And then exhale the soles of the feet to the ground. And as you inhale, press the hips up, lift the fingers up overhead. And then exhale, lower the hips down, hug the knees into the chest and give yourself a hug. So that's our movement. We'll just continue that for a few moments. So with your next inhale, release the feet down, press, reach up overhead. It's a moving bridge pose. Exhale, lower the spine down and the knees come in towards the chest again. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, press up and lift up. And this time, exhale, lower the hips, sit bones down, reach forward through the fingertips so the upper back lifts from the ground. So you're pressing into your lower back and the core is a little bit more engaged here. And just take a moment to try to soften the neck and the jaw, breathe to the belly. And then exhale, lower down and hug the knees to the chest. So you can take a bridge again and hold a little longer, or if you have wheel or Dhanurasana in your practice, then you can release the soles of the feet to the ground. So come to bridge if that's where you want to be. Maybe we all start in bridge and then bring our fingers to face back towards the shoulders if you're coming into wheel. Press just to the top of the head for a moment. And hover the head a few inches from the ground. Try to hug the elbows in towards the center of the body, and then press into the hands to lengthen the shoulders over the wrists. Try to pull the heart towards the wall behind you, so this is not just coming from the lumbar spine. And if you're in a full wheel, you can shake the head no. You can shake the head yes. Try to breathe to the belly. And try to swallow and release tension through the neck. If you're in wheel, lower down to the top of the head, hug the elbows in, and then draw the chin to the chest and come to bridge. And then from bridge, we'll all lower our spine down to the ground and hug the knees in towards the chest. So just take a moment here to find stillness or to move. And then just very gently start to release the soles of the feet to the ground and allow the soles of the feet to come together and the knees to open out wide. Your hands can come onto the belly, or they can stay somewhere on the inner thigh or on the outside. So we're coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. You're welcome to close the eyes here and allow your breathing just to return to a soft rhythm. So try to let go of any pattern of control or awareness. And just from this space, start to connect to the sensations that are running through your body. So that might just be the breath and the heartbeat, or maybe it's the temperature of the skin, or the texture of the clothes that you're wearing on the surface of the skin. Just become the silent observer of your body. And whenever you're ready, start to extend one leg at a time and come into your final posture, your Shavasana. So the legs open out and the toes drop to either side. The hands can stay on the body, or the hands can open up to the side. Have the palms of the hands facing up towards the ceiling. And just take a moment to just check in with the body on a physical level. See if you're carrying physical tension in the soles of the feet, in the belly, in the pelvic floor area, in the hands, in the shoulders, in the neck and the jaw. And try to relax all of the muscles of your face, starting with everything around the lips, and the cheeks, and the eyes. And finally, soften the forehead. And from this state of complete relaxation, see if you can feel the sensation of gravity pressing down on your body. See if you can feel that force that mostly goes unnoticed, but might be something you can feel pressing you and weighting you down into the ground. And just keeping the awareness anchored on the sensations, release and surrender into your Shavasana, a moment of integration where our body starts to take what we've practiced and turn it into a pattern within. And then to make your way out, start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Start to notice the rise and the fall of your breathing. Maybe you take a deep breath in and sigh it out. You can start to find movements in the fingers and the feet, and maybe those movements are small to start. Maybe they start to get bigger and you reach up overhead and point through the toes. And whichever side is calling to you, you're welcome to bend the knees and roll off into a fetal posture, using the bottom arm as a pillow support system for the head. And just feel a sense of gratitude radiating out for your physical health, for the ability to observe and move today. And then when you're ready, from this state of soft inward awareness, make your way into a seat. Try to keep the gaze soft and just gently come into this cross-legged position, Sukhasana, easy posture. The hands can be on the knees, and just take a moment to feel any differences. Check in with yourself the same way you checked in with yourself at the start of the class. And just take away and observe what has changed or what has stayed the same. And bring the hands to prayer overhead. And start to lower that prayer first to the crown of the head. We honor this connection to something beyond ourselves. And then bring that prayer to the space in between your eyebrows, honoring this connection to your intrinsic wisdom within. And then lower the hands to the mouth, honoring your individual expression, and lowering this prayer to the heart to honor your connection with yourself. And let's seal our practice with the sound of Om. You're welcome to join, or you're welcome to just listen. Take a deep breath in to clear with an exhale. And then take a breath in to chant. Bow your head towards your heart, remembering the intention that you set today, and maybe carrying that intention with you into the rest of your day. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste.
Namaste.
So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Jacques couldn't resist joining.
Hey, Jack is so cute.
He's ridiculous. Are your cats around?
I'm actually in North Carolina this weekend,
you
so away from
are.
my cats.
How's
Taking
your
a break.
boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for coming. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Are you coming back to Florence today?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, safe travels.
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.